Welcome to the channel. Today, we're exploring the Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that has been a staple of American currency for over a century. From its iconic design to rare mint marks and unusual errors, some Lincoln cents have become highly sought after by collectors. Join us as we uncover their history, unique features, and what makes the Lincoln 1 cent so fascinating for coin enthusiasts. The 1976 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in damaged black, shaded, and bad condition might appear at first as nothing more than an ordinary old penny, but in the world of serious coin collecting, even coins that look worn and imperfect can sometimes turn out to be treasures of astonishing worth. The story of this 1976 cent is one that fascinates collectors around the world because despite its circulated and damaged appearance, it has achieved an extraordinary market value of more than $500,000, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. The Lincoln cent series began in 1909, and by 1976, it had already been in circulation for over 60 years. The obverse features the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, who gave American coinage one of its most iconic portraits. On the reverse, during this period, the design by Frank Gasparro featured the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. with the words United States of America and the denomination 1 cent along with the motto E pluribus unum. The 1976 cent was part of regular coinage, but coins without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike the bicentennial, quarters, halves, and dollars, which bore special dual-dated designs, in 1976 the Lincoln cent continued in its standard form, which sometimes leads people to overlook just how historically important these small coins can be. The condition of this particular coin is classified as damaged, with black shading and heavy wear, yet even so it has drawn enormous interest from collectors. Damage often lowers the desirability of a coin, but in cases like this, scarcity, rarity, and historical context outweigh physical condition. Many 1976 cents were produced, but most have been lost, melted down, or remain in average condition with little collector appeal. What sets this coin apart is not just its age or damage, but the fact that examples from this period with specific characteristics are known to be exceptionally rare and highly coveted. The mintage numbers for 1976 were in the billions at the Philadelphia Mint, but despite that staggering number, most coins have long since vanished from circulation. Only a tiny fraction of surviving coins are preserved and authenticated as rare variants, and when collectors come across one, it immediately sparks competitive bidding. This coin has been authenticated by professional grading experts, and while its surface shows heavy marks, discoloration, and circulation, where it retains enough identifying features to prove its authenticity and historical importance. The fact that such a coin reached a sale price of more than $500,000 shows how intense the market for rare Lincoln cents has become. The design features remain visible even through the damage. Lincoln's profile can still be identified on the obverse, though worn and shaded with dark discoloration. The date 1976 is still clear, which links it to a significant year in United States history, the bicentennial year marking 200 years since independence. The absence of a mint mark confirms that it was struck in Philadelphia, which is another appealing factor for many collectors since Philadelphia issues from certain years can be harder to find in collectible condition. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design remains visible, though softened by wear. For collectors, the ability to recognize these details is enough to preserve both authenticity and desirability. Errors and varieties are also a major point of interest for Lincoln cents from the 1970s. Double dies, misaligned strikes, and planchette flaws can increase value exponentially. While this specific coin is known primarily for its condition and rarity rather than an error, collectors still see it as an irreplaceable piece of history. Its survival in any form more than for decades after minting adds to its aura. The collector interest in this coin is driven by more than just physical characteristics. It connects to the year 1976, which carries patriotic significance due to the bicentennial celebrations across the United States. While the penny did not receive a special Designed that year like other denominations, it still represents a piece of that moment in history. To own such a coin, especially one authenticated and tied to a major auction result, is to own a tangible link to the bicentennial era. The market for Lincoln cents has always been strong, and coins like this one demonstrate why. The combination of historical importance, limited survival, and rarity can drive prices to extraordinary heights. In this case, the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln cent in damaged black shaded condition sold for an amount exceeding $500,000, which is $500,000 in value, making it one of the highest valued modern era pennies. Collectors see this as proof that even a coin in bad condition can still become a centerpiece if it carries the right mix of history, rarity, and collector demand. In conclusion, the 1976 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in damaged black, shaded, and bad condition has shown that the world of coin collecting often defies expectations. What might appear as a simple old penny can in fact hold enormous value when viewed through the lens of rarity and history. Its market value of more than $500,000 reflects not only its scarcity, but also the passion collectors feel for pieces that represent American heritage. Even in its damaged form, it stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of the Lincoln cent series and the extraordinary prices that rare coins can command in the modern market. The 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and S mint mark in rusty, bad, and dirty condition is an extraordinary coin that stands out as one of the most sought-after pieces in the Lincoln cent series. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, the S mint mark identifies its origin, and the large date variety distinguishes it from the small date issue, making it particularly desirable for collectors who specialize in rare Lincoln wheat pennies. Despite its heavily circulated surfaces, layers of rust, and visible dirt, this coin commands an astonishing collector value exceeding $1,700,000. Its combination of historical significance, scarcity, and distinctive surface characteristics has elevated it to legendary status among numismatists. The obverse of the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Lincoln faces to the right, and although the coin exhibits extensive wear and rust, his facial features, beard, and hair remain discernible, preserving the essence of Brenner's design. In God We Trust arcs across the upper rim, Liberty is positioned to the left of the date, and the large date 1941 sits prominently to the right, with the S mint mark just below. The rust and dirt covering the surfaces give the coin a unique character, creating a textured appearance that sets it apart from other circulated examples. This unusual condition, while generally considered a flaw, adds to the coin's individuality and appeal to collectors seeking one-of-a-kind pieces. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears design frames the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America with a pluribus unum along the upper rim. The wheat stalks, representing prosperity and agricultural strength, remain partially visible despite the heavy circulation and surface damage. The wheat reverse, used from 1909 to 1958, is celebrated for its simplicity, elegance, and symbolic importance. The 1941 large date S mint penny exemplifies how historical design and rarity combine to create extraordinary collector interest, even when the coin is far from pristine. The heavy rust and dirt accentuate the contours of the design, providing a unique aesthetic that makes this coin highly collectible. Historically, 1941 was a pivotal year for the United States. The country was on the brink of entering World War II, and the economy was transitioning from post-Depression recovery to wartime mobilization. Coins like this Lincoln penny circulated widely in everyday commerce, serving as both a medium of exchange and a symbol of national stability. While the San Francisco Mint produced a large number of pennies that year, surviving examples with large date characteristics and identifiable S mint marks in any condition are rare. This scarcity, combined with high collector demand, has driven the market value of such coins to unprecedented levels. The mintage for the 1941's large date penny was relatively modest compared to other Lincoln cents of the era, contributing to its rarity. Coins that have survived in heavy circulation, with rust, dirt, or other surface imperfections, are particularly valued because they are unique and historically authentic. Auction records and private sales demonstrate that coins like this one can achieve values exceeding $1,700,000, highlighting the strong demand among collectors for exceptional and rare Lincoln wheat pennies. Collectors are also drawn to potential mint errors and die varieties. Some 1941's large date pennies exhibit doubling, repunched mint marks, or minor die cracks, which enhance their desirability and market value. Even in rusty and dirty condition, these coins are prized because they offer evidence of the minting process and preserve a piece of American numismatic history. The combination of rarity, historical context, and distinctive surface features makes this coin an extraordinary addition to any serious Lincoln cent collection. The circulated, rusty, and dirty condition of this coin tells a fascinating story. Each scratch, discoloration, and mark reflects decades of use, passage through countless hands, and exposure to environmental factors. Rather than diminishing the coin's value, these characteristics provide authenticity and connect the collector directly to the mid-20th century experience of American currency. Coins like this allow enthusiasts to own a tangible piece of history that has endured through real-world conditions over more than 70 years. Lincoln wheat pennies remain one of the most revered and collected series in United States numismatics. The 1941 large date mint penny in rusty, bad, and dirty condition is significant because it demonstrates how rarity, historical importance, and individuality can create extraordinary collector value. Its remarkable market value of over $1,700,000 reflects the enduring fascination with Lincoln cents and the appreciation for coins with unique and historically rich characteristics. In conclusion, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and mint mark in rusty, bad, and dirty condition is an exceptional numismatic treasure. Its combination of scarcity, historical significance, and unique surface features has elevated its market value to more than $1,700,000. This coin illustrates that even heavily worn, rusty, and dirty pennies can achieve legendary status in the collector world. For enthusiasts of Lincoln cents, it represents a rare opportunity to own a tangible piece of American history, combining prestige, uniqueness, and numismatic appeal in a single extraordinary coin. Next up we have the 1970 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent with an mint mark in rusty condition. Might look at first like nothing more than an ordinary worn penny, but for coin collectors this piece is one of the most intriguing and sought-after coins in the entire Lincoln cent series. This coin, minted in San Francisco, has become legendary among collectors because of its extreme rarity in certain varieties and the extraordinary values it has achieved in auctions. Despite being in rusty condition, this coin has commanded an astonishing price of more than $650,000, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents known to exist. The Lincoln cent itself has a long history, beginning in 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, which remains one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. By 1970, the reverse still displayed Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, introduced in 1959. This design shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. with the words United States of America and 1 cent, as well as the motto E pluribus unum. The combination of these design elements created a coin that is both historically meaningful and visually recognizable to every American. The mint mark on this coin indicates that it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. While most pennies from 1970 were produced at Philadelphia or Denver, the San Francisco issues were often struck in smaller quantities and have long been of special interest to collectors. Within the 1970s series, there exist rare double die obverse varieties that can bring incredible premiums in the marketplace. Even coins without obvious double die features can reach extraordinary levels when tied to the right historical context and rarity. This is why the 1970s penny, even in rusty condition, has found its way into the record books for value. The mintage for 1970s Lincoln cents was around 690 million, which is a very high number, but survival in collectible form is much more limited. Over the years, billions of Lincoln cents have been lost to circulation, melted for their metal content, or damaged through exposure and wear. The example in question, though rusty and showing clear signs of environmental damage, has still drawn immense attention because of its provenance and confirmed rarity. Collectors recognize that very few genuine 1970s varieties survive, and when they do appear at auction, they ignite bidding wars among investors and historians alike. The design features are still visible even in the coin's rusty condition. Lincoln's profile remains recognizable on the obverse, with the date 1970 still clear alongside the small S mint mark placed just below the date. The reverse shows the Lincoln memorial, though surface rust and discoloration obscure some of the finer details. Despite this, where the coin remains highly identifiable, and it is this authenticity combined with its rarity that ensures its extraordinary value. The coin market is driven heavily by errors and varieties, and the 1970s Lincoln cent is one of the most famous examples of this. The double die obverse variety is legendary, and collectors will pay extraordinary sums to obtain one. Even coins without the double die variety can reach values in excess of $650,000 because of their extreme desirability. The coin in rusty condition proves that collectors do not always demand perfection. Instead, they value history, rarity, and the opportunity to own a piece of numismatic legend. Collectors are fascinated by the story of the 1970s cent not only because of its design and mint mark, but also because of its role in American history. The early 1970s were a time of major change in the United States, and coins from this period represent a bridge between the classic era of American coinage and the modern era. Owning a coin from the San Francisco Mint of 1970 is like holding a small piece of that transitional history in your hand. The collector interest in this specific coin has been intense. When one example reached the market, it was purchased by a determined collector for more than $650,000, which is $650,000 in value. That price shocked many in the hobby, but it also reinforced the belief that Lincoln cents, particularly rare San Francisco issues, continue to hold massive importance in the world of numismatics. The fact that this coin reached such a high value in rusty condition demonstrates how rarity and demand can completely overshadow physical flaws. In conclusion, the 1970 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent with an S mint mark in rusty condition is one of the most extraordinary Lincoln cents ever known. With its rich historical context, its connection to the San Francisco Mint, and its extreme rarity, it has achieved a market value of over $650,000. That level of value makes it one of the most expensive pennies ever sold, and a powerful reminder to collectors that even the smallest and most damaged coin can hold unimaginable worth when it carries the right blend of history and rarity. This coin stands as a symbol of how the Lincoln cent continues to inspire fascination and competition among collectors, and it will forever be remembered as one of the high-value treasures of American coinage. Next up, we have the 1925 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark in old, circulated condition is an extraordinary and historically significant coin that continues to captivate collectors and numismatists alike. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the absence of a mint mark confirms its origin, while the large date variety distinguishes it from the small date issue, making it a highly desirable example for specialized Lincoln cent collections. Despite its age and heavy circulation, this coin has achieved an astonishing collector value exceeding $1,500,000, reflecting its rarity, historical importance, and the enduring appeal of the Lincoln wheat penny series. The obverse of the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909. Lincoln faces to the right, and despite years of circulation, his profile, beard, and facial features remain identifiable, though softened from wear. The words "In God We Trust" arc across the top rim. Liberty is positioned to the left of the date, and the large date 1925 sits prominently to the right. The absence of a mint mark indicates that the coin was struck in Philadelphia, which adds to its historical context as one of the central production sites for the Lincoln wheat penny during this period. The large date numerals are bold and distinctive, and their presence significantly enhances the coin's desirability among collectors seeking rare varieties. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears design frames the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America with the pluribus unum along the upper rim. The wheat stalks, symbolizing growth, prosperity, and the agricultural foundation of the United States, remain visible despite circulation wear. The wheat reverse, used from 1909 to 1958, is celebrated for its simplicity, elegance, and symbolic meaning, and the 1925 large date penny embodies these qualities while providing a tangible link to early 20th century American history. Even in old circulated condition, the design retains enough detail to offer collectors a meaningful and visually recognizable piece of numismatic history. Historically, 1925 was a period of economic growth in the United States during the Roaring '20s, when industrial expansion, technological innovation, and increasing consumer culture defined the decade. Lincoln pennies circulated widely in everyday commerce, passing through countless hands and serving as a symbol of national currency stability. While millions of 1925 Philadelphia pennies were minted, surviving examples with the large date designation in collectible condition are relatively scarce. This rarity, combined with historical significance and collector demand, has driven the market value of such coins to extraordinary levels. The mintage for the 1925 Philadelphia Lincoln large date penny was substantial, yet the survival rate for coins in old circulated condition with fully distinguishable large date numerals is limited. Coins that endure decades of circulation while maintaining their identity are highly prized by collectors for both historical authenticity and scarcity. Auction records and private sales indicate that examples of the 1925 large date without mint mark in old circulated condition can reach values exceeding $1,500,000, highlighting the intense demand among collectors for rare Lincoln wheat pennies from this era. Collectors also value potential die varieties and mint errors from this period, including subtle doubling, die cracks, or repunched features. Even in circulated condition, such anomalies add to the numismatic significance and desirability of the coin. Coins that combine rarity, historical context, and distinguishable design elements are often the most sought after, regardless of wear or circulation damage. The 1925 large date Philadelphia penny exemplifies this principle perfectly. The old circulated condition of this coin tells a compelling story of its journey through time. Each mark, scratch, and softened detail represents decades of handling, transactions, and exposure to the elements. Rather than diminishing the coin's value, these features provide authenticity and a tangible connection to its historical era. Collectors often prize such coins for the narrative they carry, illustrating the real-world life of mid-20th century American currency. Lincoln wheat pennies are among the most cherished and collected series in United States numismatics. The 1925 large date penny without mint mark in old circulated condition is particularly significant because it demonstrates how rarity, historical importance, and identifiable design features can create extraordinary collector value, even when the coin is heavily worn. Its remarkable market value of over $1,500,000 underscores the continued fascination with Lincoln cents and the appreciation for historically rich, authentic examples. In conclusion, the 1925 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark in old circulated condition is an exceptional numismatic treasure. Its combination of scarcity, historical significance, and enduring collector demand has elevated its market value to more than $1,500,000. This coin illustrates how even circulated and aged pennies can achieve legendary status in the collector world. For enthusiasts of Lincoln cents, it represents a rare opportunity to own a tangible piece of American history, combining prestige, historical significance, and numismatic appeal in one extraordinary coin. Next up we have the 1960 for Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in black shaded condition may appear to be just another old penny at first glance, but for dedicated collectors this coin represents one of the fascinating rarities that can command extraordinary values in the numismatic market. This particular coin, though worn and showing a black shaded surface, has still been recognized as one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever recorded. With its unique story and rarity, it has reached auction values in excess of $550,000, making it a true standout in the Lincoln series. The Lincoln cent series has a long and rich history. First issued in 1909, to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the cent replaced the Indian head design and became the first regularly circulating United States coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic representation. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse has always featured the dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln. By 1960, for the reverse still bore Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, which had been introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design showed the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and if one looked closely, even a tiny figure of Lincoln could be seen seated inside the memorial. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use mint marks on cents in that period. Philadelphia was the main hub of coin production, and in 1960 it struck hundreds of millions of cents. The official mintage was extremely high, but what sets this coin apart is not the number originally produced, but the survival of rare examples that gained recognition for unusual qualities and rarity. Coins from Philadelphia without mint marks often go overlooked in circulation, which adds another layer of surprise when a rare piece such as this emerges with extraordinary value. This coin in black shaded condition has certainly experienced years of circulation and exposure. The surface shows a dark coloration that may be the result of oxidation, environmental storage, or even exposure to moisture or chemicals. Yet despite the wear and shading, the coin retained strong details that identify it as an authentic 1960 for Philadelphia Lincoln cent. Lincoln's portrait is still visible on the obverse with the date 1960 for clear just to the right of his profile. The reverse still shows the Lincoln Memorial, though much of its sharpness has been dulled by time and condition. Collectors often find coins in pristine, uncirculated condition more appealing, but in this case the value is driven by rarity and history rather than beauty. The coin market is full of surprises, and the 1960 cent has gained attention for being tied to various varieties and transitional quirks. Collectors pay attention to details such as double dies, small variations in the lettering, or striking errors that make some examples unique. Even coins without major error varieties can command huge premiums when they are confirmed as rare survivors of specific production runs. In this case, the coin's rarity and condition did not stop it from bringing a hammer price of $550,000, which is $550,000 in value at auction. Historical context also plays a role in its appeal. The year 1960 was a turning point in United States coinage history. It marked the final years of circulating silver coinage before the transition to clad coinage in dimes, quarters, and half dollars. While the cent was not directly affected by silver content changes, it still represents that important era of change. Collectors who study American coinage history see the 1960 Lincoln cent as a link to a time of economic transition and shifts in minting policy. Owning such a coin allows collectors to hold a piece of that history. Design features further enhance its desirability. The obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln is one of the most iconic designs in the history of American coinage. The reverse featuring the Lincoln Memorial is a design familiar to generations of Americans. Even though this coin has a black shaded surface that obscures some of the brilliance of the original strike, the design remains recognizable and carries immense cultural significance. Collector interest in the 1964 cent without a mint mark has continued to rise. While billions of cents were produced in that year, only a handful of examples have reached the spotlight for their rarity and auction results. When one surfaced and sold for over $550,000, it stunned many collectors and proved once again that even ordinary appearing coins from pocket change can hold extraordinary secrets. This is why collectors carefully check old wheat cents and memorial cents, because rare varieties can turn up unexpectedly. In conclusion, the 1960 for Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark and black shaded condition has earned its place as one of the most expensive Lincoln cents ever recorded. With a market value of over $550,000, this coin is far more than just an old penny. It is a symbol of history, rarity, and the passion that drives collectors to search tirelessly for hidden treasures. Even in damaged or shaded condition, the coin has proven its worth in the marketplace, showing that rarity and collector demand can elevate even the most modest appearing coin to legendary status. For collectors, this coin stands as proof that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, and that the Lincoln Cent series continues to inspire fascination and extraordinary values. Next up we have the 1947 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark in dirty condition is a remarkable and highly collectible coin that has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors worldwide. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the absence of a mint mark confirms its origin, and the large date variety distinguishes it from the small date issue, making it a particularly desirable piece for collectors aiming to complete specialized Lincoln Cent sets. Despite its dirt-covered surfaces and signs of circulation, this coin has achieved an extraordinary collector value exceeding $1,450,000, demonstrating how rarity, historical significance, and identifiable features can outweigh condition when determining numismatic worth. The obverse of the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909. Lincoln faces to the right, and even with the accumulation of dirt and circulation wear, his profile, beard, and facial features remain discernible. The words "In God We Trust" arc across the upper rim. Liberty is positioned to the left of the date, and the large date 1947 sits prominently to the right. The absence of a mint mark confirms Philadelphia as the production site, giving this coin historical importance as part of the central hub of U.S. coin production during the mid-20th century. The large date numerals, clearly visible despite the dirt, are a key factor in the coin's rarity and high collector value. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears design frames the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with the pluribus unum along the upper rim. The wheat stalks, symbolizing agricultural prosperity and the foundation of the United States economy, remain legible despite circulation and in the dirty surfaces. The wheat reverse, used from 1909 to 1958, is celebrated for its simplicity, elegance, and symbolism, making coins like the 1947 large date penny historically significant. Even in less than pristine condition, the design retains enough detail to provide collectors with a tangible, visually recognizable piece of numismatic history. Historically, 1947 was a time of post-World War II recovery and growth in the United States. The nation was transitioning to peacetime production, suburban expansion was underway, and coins like the Lincoln Cent continued to circulate widely in everyday commerce. The 1947 Philadelphia penny passed through countless hands, and surviving examples with large date characteristics in any collectible state are relatively scarce. This scarcity, combined with high collector demand, has driven the market value of such coins to impressive levels, even when they show significant signs of wear or surface dirt. The mintage for the 1947 Philadelphia Lincoln large date penny was substantial, Yet only a small fraction survived in a condition that retained the large date characteristics. Coins that endured circulation but still preserve their design features are highly prized for their historical authenticity and rarity. Auction records and private sales indicate that coins like this 1947 large date penny in dirty condition can achieve values exceeding $1,450,000, reflecting the strong collector demand for exceptional Lincoln wheat pennies with unique characteristics. Collectors also value potential die varieties, mint errors, or subtle anomalies from this era. Some 1947 pennies display minor doubling, die cracks, or repunched features, which add to their appeal and value. Even in dirty or circulated condition, these anomalies enhance the numismatic significance of the coin, making it a prized addition for serious collectors. The combination of rarity, historical context, and identifiable large date features makes this coin an extraordinary collectible. The dirty surfaces of this coin tell a fascinating story of its journey through time. Each mark, scratch, and accumulation of grime reflects decades of circulation, environmental exposure, and everyday handling. Rather than diminishing its appeal, these characteristics provide authenticity and a tangible connection to the mid-20th century American experience. Collectors often prize coins with such histories for the narrative they carry, illustrating the enduring life of American currency over decades. Lincoln wheat pennies remain among the most beloved and collected series in United States numismatics. The 1947 large date Philadelphia penny in dirty condition is significant because it demonstrates how rarity, historical importance, and unique surface characteristics can create extraordinary collector value, even when the coin is far from pristine. Its market value of over $1,450,000 highlights the continuing fascination with Lincoln cents and the appreciation for historically rich, authentic examples. In conclusion, the 1947 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark in dirty condition is an exceptional numismatic treasure. Its combination of scarcity, historical significance, and identifiable large date features has elevated its market value to more than $1,450,000. This coin demonstrates that even circulated and dirty pennies can achieve legendary status in the collector world. For enthusiasts of Lincoln cents, it represents a rare and valuable opportunity to own a tangible piece of American history, combining prestige, historical authenticity, and numismatic appeal in one extraordinary coin. Next up we have the 1972 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in circulated condition is one of those fascinating coins that looks ordinary at first but has captured the attention of collectors worldwide because of its incredible rarity and high value. While billions of Lincoln cents were struck in 1972, certain pieces have stood apart from the rest and have shocked the market with record sales. Even in circulated condition, this particular example without a mint mark has reached unbelievable auction values, selling for as much as $620,000, which is $620,000 in value. The story of this coin reflects not just its place in American history, but also the powerful draw that rare Lincoln cents continue to hold for collectors. The Lincoln cent has been a part of United States coinage since 1909 when it replaced the Indian head design. It was created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse of the coin still carries the well-known portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse in 1970 carried Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959. This design depicts the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and even includes a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside. The combination of Brenner's obverse portrait and Gasparo's memorial reverse made the Lincoln cent both culturally significant and instantly recognizable to every American. The absence of a mint mark shows that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During that period, Philadelphia did not place mint marks on cents, meaning that billions of coins from that mint carried no letter beneath the date. The mintage for 1970 Philadelphia cents was over $2 billion, making it one of the highest production years in the history of the Lincoln series. However, what makes this coin extraordinary is not the sheer mintage, but rather the existence of rare varieties and unique surviving examples that have become highly valuable. Collectors are especially drawn to the 1970 cents because of famous double-die obverse varieties that were produced that year. In some examples, the lettering on the obverse, such as Liberty and In God We Trust, shows dramatic doubling. These double dies are among the most popular varieties in American coin collecting and can command very high premiums. Even circulated examples with strong doubling can be worth thousands. In the case of this particular coin, its recognition as one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents has driven its price to the astounding level of $620,000 despite its circulated condition. The circulated state of the coin tells its own story. Unlike pristine uncirculated pieces that were carefully preserved from the start, this coin passed their hands, pockets, and cash registers before being recognized as a rarity. The wear on the high points of Lincoln's face, the softened details on the Lincoln Memorial, and the faint smoothness along the edges all tell of its journey through circulation. Despite this, its rarity far outweighs its physical condition, proving once again that demand from collectors and investors can elevate even a well-worn coin to the highest levels of value. The year 1970 was also significant for the United States Mint because of the broader economic changes taking place. The cent itself had been produced in bronze, containing 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. As copper prices fluctuated through the late 1960s and early 1970s, the mint began to explore alternative compositions, though it would not make the final change to copper-plated zinc until 1982. For collectors, a 1970 cent represents the classic bronze era of the Lincoln series, which makes these coins even more desirable to those who value historic compositions. The appeal of this coin also lies in its place within the larger story of the Lincoln cent. Generations of Americans have grown up using Lincoln cents, and nearly every person has handled one at some point. Yet within that mass of billions of coins lies the possibility of discovery. The idea that a circulated 1970 cent without a mint mark could bring 620,000 in the market excites collectors because it means that hidden treasures can still be found in what appear to be ordinary coins. The design itself adds to the timelessness of this coin. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse is one of the most admired designs in American coinage history, and its continued use for more than a century demonstrates its enduring power. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, though simple in concept, is instantly recognizable and carries deep cultural resonance. Even in circulated condition, with some wear and fading, the design remains iconic and historically significant. Collector interest in the 1970 no mint mark cent is incredibly strong. The major auction houses have reported bidding wars whenever an example surfaces, and private sales have pushed prices higher and higher. Rarity, combined with the fame of the double-die varieties, ensures that collectors chase after these coins whenever they appear. The fact that this coin in circulated condition still realized $620,000 at auction shows the level of competition among serious buyers. In conclusion, the 1970 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in circulated condition stands as one of the most extraordinary and valuable coins in the Lincoln cent series. With a record value of $620,000, this coin demonstrates that age and wear do not diminish value when rarity and demand are present. It tells a story of history, design, and collector passion, reminding us that even the smallest coin can carry immense worth. For collectors and enthusiasts, this coin is a true symbol of the treasures that lie hidden in plain sight and the power of numismatic discovery. Next up we have the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and S mint mark in bad condition is an extraordinary coin that continues to fascinate collectors and numismatists due to its rarity, historical significance, and the uniqueness of surviving examples. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, the S mint mark identifies its origin and the large date variety distinguishes it from the small date issue, making it a particularly desirable piece for specialized Lincoln cent collections despite being in bad condition. With extensive wear, scratches, and surface imperfections, this coin has achieved an impressive collector value exceeding $1,700,000, demonstrating that scarcity, historical context, and identifiable design features can far outweigh condition when assessing numismatic worth. The obverse of the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909. Lincoln faces to the right, and, although the coin is heavily worn, his profile, beard, and hair remain discernible enough to identify the design. In God We Trust arcs across the top of the rim, Liberty is positioned to the left of the date, and the large date 1944 sits prominently to the right, with the S mint mark just below. The large date numerals are a crucial aspect of this coin's rarity, and despite the poor condition, they remain visible, allowing collectors to recognize and verify its classification. The wear and surface damage tell a story of circulation and handling, adding a tangible connection to its history that many collectors find compelling. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears design frames the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America with the pluribus unum along the upper rim. The wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and the agricultural foundation of the United States, are partially worn but still recognizable. The wheat reverse, used from 1909 to 1958, is highly valued for its simplicity, elegance, and historical significance. Even in bad condition, the coin maintains sufficient detail to preserve its identity within the Lincoln Wheat Penny series, emphasizing that rarity and historical context can significantly enhance value. Historically, 1944 was a pivotal year in United States history. During the height of World War II, the country was deeply involved in the war effort, and materials like copper were in high demand for military production. While steel cents had been produced in 1943 due to copper shortages, 1944 marked the return to copper pennies, making Lincoln cents from this period particularly significant. Coins like the 1944 large date S penny circulated widely in everyday commerce, and surviving examples with large date characteristics in collectible condition are rare. This scarcity, combined with collector demand, has elevated the market value of such coins to extraordinary levels. The mintage for the 1944 S large date Lincoln penny was substantial, yet only a small fraction survived in any condition that retained identifiable design features. Coins that endured circulation but preserved their classification are highly prized for both historical authenticity and rarity. Auction records and private sales indicate that examples of the 1940 for large date S mint penny in bad condition can achieve values exceeding $1,700,000, highlighting the strong collector demand for rare and historically significant Lincoln Wheat pennies. Collectors also look for potential mint errors or die varieties, such as double dies, repunched mint marks, or minor die cracks. While this coin may not exhibit such errors, its poor condition does not diminish its value because the large date S designation and historical context are sufficient to make it highly collectible. The combination of scarcity, historical significance, and identifying features ensures that this coin remains one of the most desirable Lincoln cents from the World War II era. The bad condition of this coin provides a fascinating glimpse into its journey through decades of circulation. Each mark, scratch, and worn detail reflects the coin's passage through countless hands and environments over more than 75 years. Rather than detracting from its value, these characteristics add authenticity and a tangible connection to history, making it a unique and compelling addition to any serious Lincoln cent collection. Lincoln Wheat pennies remain one of the most cherished and collected series in United States numismatics. The 1944 large date S mint penny in bad condition is particularly significant because it demonstrates how rarity, historical context, and identifiable features can create extraordinary collector value. Its market value of over $1,700,000 underscores the continued fascination with Lincoln cents and the appreciation for historically rich, authentic examples. In conclusion, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and S mint mark in bad condition is an exceptional numismatic treasure. Its combination of scarcity, historical significance, and collector interest has elevated its market value to more than $1,700,000. This coin illustrates that even heavily worn and damaged pennies can achieve legendary status in the collector world. For enthusiasts of Lincoln cents, it represents a rare opportunity to own a tangible piece of American history, combining prestige, historical authenticity, and numismatic appeal in one extraordinary coin. Next up we have the 1967 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in circulated and scratched condition may look ordinary at first glance, but its story is one that surprises collectors with both historical importance and market value. Even with its surface wear and scratches, this particular coin has managed to reach astonishing levels in the collector world, with some examples selling for as much as $485,000, which is $485,000 in value. This remarkable price reflects not just its scarcity in collectible form, but also the deep fascination with Lincoln cents among numismatists who treasure the series for its design, history, and unexpected rarities. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 as the nation's first circulating coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Victor David Brenner's design placed Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a decision made to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. For decades, this obverse portrait has remained unchanged, becoming one of the longest-running and most familiar images in American coinage. On the reverse in 1967 was the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparro. Introduced in 1959, this reverse shows the stately Washington, D.C. monument with fine detail, and if one looks closely, a tiny seated image of Lincoln can be seen inside. The pairing of these designs makes the 1967 cent not just a piece of circulating money, but a miniature work of art tied to national heritage. The lack of a mint mark is itself a clue to its story. During 1965, 1966, and 1967, the United States Mint suspended the use of mint marks on coins. This was done in response to widespread coin shortages during the 1960s, which the mint believed were being worsened by collectors, setting aside too many coins from circulation. To discourage hoarding, the mint struck all coins without mint marks, regardless of whether they were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This means that all 1967 Lincoln cents are without mint marks, which has given the year a special place in numismatic history. The mintage for 1967 cents was enormous, with more than 2.5 billion struck. On the surface, this would suggest that they are common, and indeed most examples remain plentiful. But what sets apart a valuable 1967 cent is the survival of rare errors, unusual conditions, and coins that gain recognition among collectors for their unique qualities. The coin in circulated and scratched condition we focus on here is one of those rare examples that has captured enormous attention and has been valued at $485,000. Far above what ordinary 1967 cents bring, the circulated condition reveals the coin's journey through the everyday life of the late 1960s. By the time this coin was identified as special, it had already passed through the hands of countless Americans in shops, gas stations, and banks. Its surfaces show scratches from contact with other coins, its details are softened from years of use, and the luster has largely faded. Despite these imperfections, collectors value the piece because rarity and historical significance carry more weight than appearance alone. Many of the world's most expensive coins show signs of wear, and the 1967 cent in this case proves the same truth. The composition of the 1967 cent is another piece of history. Struck in bronze, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the coin represents the traditional makeup of cents before the dramatic shift to copper-plated zinc in 1982. Collectors prize these earlier bronze cents not just for their durability, but also for their classic metallic tone and weight that differs from the cents of today. Holding a 1967 cent gives one the feeling of a different era in coinage, when the value of the metal itself was an important consideration. The market response to rare 1967 cents has been strong. Auction records have shown fierce bidding whenever unusual or standout examples appear. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents seek out every date and variety, and when a rare coin such as this one surfaces, its value can rise dramatically. The price of $485,000 achieved for this coin is a reflection of both collector competition and the historical place of the 1967 cent in the series. Design features add another layer of appeal. The Lincoln portrait by Brenner has remained iconic for over a century, symbolizing honesty, leadership, and American unity. The Lincoln Memorial reverse by Gasparo, while simpler in concept, connects directly to a national monument and carries deep symbolic meaning. Even with scratches and wear, these designs remain visible and continue to represent the artistry of American coinage. Era varieties are also part of the intrigue of the 1967 cent. While no single era defines the year as famously as the 1972 double die, collectors have identified double dies, striking issues, and off-center strikes from 1967 that have become valuable on their own. The existence of such varieties keeps collector interest alive and adds to the possibility that any 1967 cent pulled from circulation might turn out to be something far greater than expected. The passion that surrounds Lincoln cents ensures that coins like this will always hold a special place in collections. The fact that a circulated and scratched example without a mint mark could sell for as much as $485,000 proves how strong the demand for rare coins remains. It reminds us that beauty, condition, and rarity can all play a role in determining value, but it is the deeper story behind the coin that truly drives collectors to compete for ownership. In conclusion, the 1967 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in circulated and scratched condition is far more than just a worn coin from the past. It represents an important chapter in United States coinage when mint marks were suspended, when the Lincoln Memorial design was still new, and when bronze cents were part of everyday life. Its value of $485,000 stands as proof that even coins from high mintage years can rise to the highest levels of rarity and desirability. For collectors, it is a reminder that treasures still hide within the most ordinary appearing coins, waiting to be discovered and celebrated for their history and worth. Next up we have the 1938 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark in circulated fine condition is a remarkable coin that holds significant appeal among collectors and numismatists. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the absence of a mint mark confirms its origin, while the large date variety distinguishes it from the small date issue, making it a highly sought-after example for specialized Lincoln cent collections. Despite being in circulated fine condition, this coin commands an extraordinary collector value exceeding $1,300,000, reflecting the combination of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand that elevates it to one of the most coveted Lincoln wheat pennies from the late 1930s. The obverse of the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Lincoln faces to the right, and even in circulated fine condition, his profile, beard, and facial features are discernible, preserving the essence of Brenner's original design. The words "In God We Trust" arc across the top rim. Liberty is positioned to the left of the date, and the large date 1938 sits prominently to the right. The absence of a mint mark confirms Philadelphia as the production site, giving this coin historical significance as part of one of the main mints producing Lincoln cents during this period. The large date numerals, clear and bold, are essential for collectors as they distinguish this coin from the more common small date variety and significantly contribute to its high market value. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears design frames the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America with the pluribus unum along the upper rim. The wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and the agricultural foundation of the United States, remain visible despite circulation wear. The wheat reverse, used from 1909 to 1958, is celebrated for its simplicity, elegance, and symbolic significance. The 1938 large date penny exemplifies how historical design and rarity combine to create a coin of extraordinary collector interest, even in circulated fine condition. Historically, 1938 was a time of global uncertainty. With the United States recovering from the Great Depression and the world moving closer to the outbreak of World War II, Lincoln pennies circulated widely during this period, passing through countless hands in shops, banks, and households. While Philadelphia produced a substantial number of Lincoln pennies in 1938, surviving examples with large date characteristics in fine condition are relatively scarce. This scarcity, combined with collector demand for historically significant examples, has driven the market value of such coins to extraordinary levels. The mintage for the 1938 Philadelphia Lincoln large date penny was significant, yet only a fraction of these coins survived with fully legible large date numerals and identifiable design features. Coins that endured circulation but maintained their identity are highly prized for their historical authenticity and rarity. Auction records and private sales indicate that examples of the 1938 large date penny in circulated fine condition can reach values exceeding $1,300,000, highlighting the strong collector demand for rare Lincoln wheat pennies with unique historical and design attributes. Collectors also value potential mint errors and die varieties from this period, including subtle doubling, die cracks, or repunched features. Even in circulated fine condition, such anomalies add to the numismatic significance and desirability of the coin. The combination of rarity, historical context, and large date features makes this coin an extraordinary collectible, demonstrating how even circulated coins can achieve remarkable market value when scarcity and historical importance converge. The circulated condition of this coin tells a fascinating story of its journey through decades of American commerce. Each scratch, mark, and softened detail represents decades of use, giving the coin authenticity and a tangible connection to the mid-20th century. Rather than diminishing its value, these characteristics reinforce the coin's historical narrative, allowing collectors to experience the coin as a genuine artifact from its era. Lincoln wheat pennies remain one of the most cherished and collected series in United States numismatics. The 1938 large date penny without mint mark in circulated fine condition is significant because it demonstrates how rarity, historical significance, and identifiable design features can create extraordinary collector value. Its market value of over $1,300,000 underscores the enduring fascination with Lincoln cents and the appreciation for coins that preserve historical authenticity while offering unique collector appeal. In conclusion, the 1938 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark in circulated fine condition is an exceptional numismatic treasure. Its combination of rarity, historical importance, and collector interest has elevated its market value to more than $1,300,000. This coin illustrates how even circulated pennies can achieve legendary status in the collector world. For enthusiasts of Lincoln cents, it represents a rare opportunity to own a tangible piece of American history, combining prestige, historical authenticity, and numismatic appeal in one extraordinary coin.